Okay, I'm going to mention these scenarios um, about mechanics that I've visited. And so when I talk about these scenarios, these mechanics are going to know who they are. So I'm not going to mention names, but I really hope that they get something out of this. Okay, last year I had a transmission replaced in my vehicle. And I also had brake work done, and I also had the front end done with a realignment on each side, and so on and so forth. Okay, that went pretty well. But then about 3 months later, I went to a mechanic, not knowing that I had gotten a rebuilt transmission in my car, and he tried to tell me that I had regular transmission fluid instead of CVT transmission fluid. Okay, and then he looked at his friend with a grin on his face. Well, let's see if we can catch this guy and see if we can charge him $200 for a CVT transmission oil change. Well, like I said, they didn't know that I had a rebuilt transmission in there, and I had not messed with the CVT fluid. Transmission's just fine. In other words, he was just poking in the dark, seeing if how naive I was. And then um, I went to another mechanic and I asked for a an estimate, and to get some work done on 3 different things that needed to be done on my car. And he was told by his boss, well, go get him an estimate if you could, please. So he did the estimate and everything on all 3 jobs. And he got, the 3 different prices and the 3 different labor rates and so on and so forth, and gave me a figure that looked really good to me and made me want to come back. And so basically, I get back there and I find out that the total price for the 3 for the estimate was the price for only 1 job. Okay, so basically he got into the computer and he fudged some stuff. And so anyway, I was able to get the one thing done because it was needed. But here I am scratching my head wondering why he gave me the price for one thing to be done when it should have been 3 times higher. Okay, so that was really kind of upsetting. And again, the guy is poking and prodding for what I believe. I mean, because 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to know how much the price of the part is, and I'm not going to know what the labor rate is. So he can fudge a little. And then when you go to the mechanic to get the stuff done, then you find out the part was higher and the labor was higher. They did that just to get you to come back. Well, mechanics, if you're doing a good job in the first place, okay, people are going to come back. So if you're being honest with them and you fix the problem, no matter how cheap or how expensive it is, they're going to come back. Another mechanic I just got done with recently, I took my car up to him. And granted, okay, the first thing that he said, because he looked at the vehicle, okay, you need motor mounts. All right, great. That seems like something, and I've been told by other mechanics you need a motor mount. You need motor mounts because your engine's crooked, might be affecting your performance, and then it's a good possibility your engine and your transmission might fall out of your car. So you need to get that done. Okay, so I spent the money. It was money well spent, and it made my car, it made my car run better. Okay, because now the engine and the transmission aren't striving against one another to drive the car, and then I don't have to worry about it falling out of the car. Okay, so I spent that money there. Okay, but once that was finished, my car was still not going above 25 miles an hour. So what these mechanics did was they did a hit and miss again, and they said, oh, well, you need this $450 part. And once we get that part in, then the car will be fixed. Okay, all right, I could deal with that, but something inside me said, well, what if there's a bunch of carbon in it? Why don't you just go clean it? So I went in ahead and cleaned it, took it in to be tested. Oh, okay, there's nothing wrong with that part. But now you got this part, and that's what's causing all the problems in your car, because once I cleaned it, it still wasn't going above 25 miles per hour. So I went and I got the part. It happened to be the wrong part. I still have it sitting here on my kitchen table, and so he wasn't able to put it in. So thankfully he didn't charge me any labor. But he was saying that because his testing machine was looking at this particular part, that it was causing all these other errors. And that's why my car wasn't running, in top shape, and why it wasn't going over 25 miles an hour. And then, and so basically, it would have cost me between $800 and $1,000 to get these two parts put on the car. And then additionally, since my gear shifter was stuck in park, he told me I had to get a whole new, brand new gear shifter because it had a dealer's chip in it, and he wasn't set up for it. Okay, so well, guess what? That's a whole nother expense. That's like $250 right there, on top of the labor to get the old one out and the new one put in. By the time I was done with that, it would have been a $500 job. And so what we're talking about here now is over $1,500 of work that needed to be done on the car. And in the meantime, the car's my living. And 30 days sitting there dead in the water, not making any money, he's just guessing as to what's wrong with my car. He didn't do any of the troubleshooting. So I took matters into my own hands and looked up a YouTube video and found out that it was a 50-cent part that needed to be replaced. And this little itty bitty 50-cent part was causing all the trouble in my car. So I pulled it, got another one, put it in, and the car works perfectly. So I remember there's another mechanic. He was my regular mechanic for a while. And I started going to him because he offered to put people's headlights in for free. So he would take the old one out, put the new one in, and you're good to go. I mean, it was free. So when my car started having other problems, other more major problems, I would take my car to him and he would be getting anywhere between $300 and $600 a shot to fix my car. Because he had built a relationship of trust with me, which told me that he wasn't going to let me down. So you mechanics that have been up and running 15 and 20 years, ripping people off like I almost was, you need to take a lesson from that. You need to stop thinking people are naive and stupid just so that you can make $1,000, $1,500 in a shot. And I'm making up this video because, as I said, my car is my living. I cannot be sitting dead in the water because I'm not going to be able to make the money to do the repairs, particularly if they're the wrong repairs and they're not going to fix the car. You need to think, mechanics, about what you're doing when you think, I mean, it may even be true. People may just be stupid. That might even be true. They may just be naive. They may be older women that aren't mechanics. They may be younger women that aren't mechanics. Don't have any idea how the thing works. That does not give you an excuse to hold somebody's car for 3.5 or 4 months and not do anything with it because you don't feel like working on it. Some of these people are mothers who need their cars to go to work, and they'll have 4 and 5 children they need to feed and get to school, buy school supplies, buy food, buy clothes, and pay rent. And you're sitting on a car for 4 months because you don't want to fix it. What are you thinking, people? Are you trying to disable people? Your job is to fix their cars so they can get back running so they can go to work. Why aren't you doing it?